There's the big gigantic bank. I mean big. This is the biggest thing around in town. And it's interesting that you notice the streets here are kind of strange. This is Chestnut and Ridgewood Ave. And then if we go, the bank is not on either. The bank is on, oh there we got one big giant church there. That's the Methodist church. But we can see that the bank is not on the same street. They got their flag up. That's one big building. It's not on the same street. The bank is on good old Prospect Street. So here's the Prospect Street sign. Which is interesting. There's the bank from the side, and you can see Prospect kind of starts right here. And if you go down far enough, this is the beginning of Prospect Street, or the end of Prospect Street. We'll decide later. It's this biggest building in Ridgewood on it, which is the bank. We'll go around so we show you how Prospect Street kind of dead ends here. See? So that other street, there's the bank, and you can see that the other street, how Prospect ends. This is ends or begins. We don't know which. So we got Prospect Street. This is the bank again. There's the flag on the bank. This is the highest point in Ridgewood here. Over there's another flag. That's the train station. And like I said, this is like where Prospect goes. The interesting thing is that being the high point, as you can see, it goes downhill serious down there, is that what's going on down there? Well, there's the post office, kind of a famous post office down there. And we could take a walk and we'll get a look at that church from another angle. So here's the proverbial clock. And there's the post office, there's the flag, that's what we're working on, is the flag. And this is the heights. You can see she's going downhill all the way. There's the movie theater up there, the highest point in the town. And look, here's that church that we were taking a picture of before, looking down Prospect. So there's Prospect going out back. And this is the park in Ridgewood. There's the post office once again. And there's the top of the movie theater. You can see the high point. But we're on, this is the top of the hill, but look what we got. We got the Godwin Memorial. So who was Godwin? Godwin was a Revolutionary soldier. George Washington. And there's George Washington on the horse, and we got Godwin playing the flute, and he was the piper for George Washington. And then we got a memorial for soldiers in World War I and stuff. Richard goes back. And there's the church, but look at across the street from that church. There's another very big church, and it's really big. And that's Mount Carmel. Interesting because Mount Carmel is really a mission, and it's based on the sighting of the Holy Mother apparition in on Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel is where Elijah started the war between Israel and Judah. I think basically I consider. So this is the church, and it's Methodist church, which is here, and there's the tower, and we're back on Prospect there, and right across the street is a Mount Carmel mission or Catholic church. So we sort of got a sort of a schism here, and it's like in some ways part of the feet of clay, I always call it, you know, that the coming part, the different denominations, we would call it. But there's the flag on top of the bank down there, and this is Prospect again, kind of the famous street. Here it is, Prospect, right in front of Mount Carmel, which is named after the mountain Carmel, Mount Carmel in Israel. And here Prospect continues out in this direction. So Prospect becomes a dead end down there at the bank. What the clock? I'm doing a movie.
That's a neat little camera you got there.
I'm doing a movie about...
They're doing a documentary about you, huh?
No, yeah, they're doing one on me, but they're also listening to some of my ideas, and they're going to redo my ideas. Do you know how Prospect Street ends here?
Yeah.
Do you know how important Prospect Street was?
That's a professional one, I call it. The Prospect Street. All the doctors and lawyers used to hang, oh, they still do hang out.
It's the oldest street. It created Ridgewood.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
It goes to Fairlawn Ave and it ends in a dead end.
I'm going to look that up now. I'm going to Wikipedia that.
Well, I'm done with the movie.
Right,
okay, this is Charles. How, Charles? Got your name up there. Hold the top billing. Thank you. Love you, man. Yeah, this is the post office. And there's something interesting about this post office. Oh, we got the post guy standing out in front of it here. And it's the Ridgewood United States Post Office. And got a name on it. And it goes back to 1937. And it's an interesting post office for a reason. This stuff is pretty atypical here. And but all of a sudden there'll be something special about this post office that you really it's sad, but I'm going to tell you what it is, and then we can always edit it out because it's kind of depressing. And here it is. You notice how this is dedicated to dedicated to the memory of postal workers who gave their lives serving their community. All of a sudden you got October 10, 1991, and you wonder why that date is there. Well, what happened, there was a massacre in here, and this is there's the movie theater down there. And this is what the word going postal is all about. This is the first, a domestic terrorism attack there was when a postal worker, disgruntled, shot, I don't know, I think it was 9 other postal workers. And we got a Victorian house here, so we love there's a pretty they got some old stuff going on, and that's even got a historic plaque on it, so we get a shot of that one. And at the same time, and there's the movie theater right there, there's the tower. It's kind of been decombobulated. And here's this plaque, and it was a 1830 Victorian house. I love the way they put Victorian because it's Victorian written on the plaque up at the Hermitage. And it just reminds me. Well, here's Prospect Street, straight as an arrow, wide as could be. And like before, Prospect Street's got the big flags on it. This is the Bottle King. But now you're going to see something that is probably the only place in the world this happens. You got a triangle here. Notice that Prospect is dead straight up the hill, up this way, and the other one curves around it, right? Well, one of them is Saddle River Road, and the other one is Prospect. Guess what? This is the end of Saddle River Road here. Prospect Street absorbs Saddle River Road, amazing as it may sound. And this little development over here where we got a farmer's market, well, we got a, see, we're on the bus route, this is like new. So here's Prospect Street again, and that's where we was. See the light way down there? That's where the Bottle King was, where the flag was. That's Ridgewood up in that direction. Now we're going up Prospect. And here's a block, and this is interesting. Kukin Terrace is the name of the person whose farm this whole triangle was. But all of a sudden, do you believe this? What is that? A dead end. And I'm not kidding, a dead end. A wall of steel and a wall. So there's Prospect coming. This is the corner here. This is Billy Monroe's house here. And then the end of Prospect, the wall. and that's what I call a wall. You notice that the foundations of these houses are on a hill. This has been cut up. This is Fairlawn Ave and Prospect Street. Now, interesting to see is the telephone poles on Prospect Street, and look at the telephone poles on Fairlawn Avenue. Well, that's because Fairlawn Avenue, which goes straight as an arrow, in this direction, an arrow. I mean, it's straight as an arrow. It continues all the way to really the Great Falls in Patterson Federal Park. And continuing down Fairlawn Avenue, not too far, because there's Saddle River Road. Remember, there was the triangle. Well, that's one leg of the triangle, the Saddle River. Prospect is the other, and they stop here on Fairlawn Avenue. A very old Dutch church, a really old Dutch church is here. And then we've got next to it a synagogue, right? So this corner becomes really interesting because look, it's a forest. It's a park. It's a county park. It's really something. So there's the Saddle River Road. This is where Fairlawn Avenue hits Saddle River Road. And but then all of a sudden, what happens to Fairlawn Avenue? It becomes Century Road. You can see Century written down there. The same street. You got one saying Fairlawn Avenue on it, and the other one down there saying Century Road. There's a Century Road turning. There's Kukin. That's Kukin from Kukin Hardware. Those are the guys that used to own this block. They still own a big building supply, and now Fairlawn Avenue has become Century Road. And back here is the Star-Shaped Temple. Another view of Fairlawn Avenue and Saddle River, and look, you got, there it is, the star, the morning star, is the corner of Saddle River Road and Fairlawn Avenue, what turned into Century Road. And how historic is it? This building here. This building is a smokehouse for smoking hams, I guess you would call it, preserving food, and so from there we got a big bank here, TD Bank. Of course, there's a bus stop. You can see that's the New York bus stop. It's the express bus stop. And there's the Star Temple. There's Fairlawn Avenue, Saddle River Road. Now we're starting to see the wilderness. The wilderness is because this is all county park. It goes far, and it's Dunkerhook Road. Means the corner hook, and here's the new condominiums they built here, and etc. That's the new stuff. But wait till you see what's going on with the old stuff. Yeah, well, this is where we're getting back to where we're really at, is this little house here, which was a place where Lafayette and George Washington used to hang out. And the reason for that was because here, well, we heard of Saddle River Road.